Okay. Good evening. It is Tuesday, September 16th at 6 p.m. and we're calling the Village of North Hudson Park Board meeting to order. Commissioner Martinez absent, Commissioner Ortner absent, Commissioner Helgeson,
Present.
Commissioner Ryder,
Present.
Commissioner Wolf absent, Commissioner Flater,
Present.
and we also have Matthew Howell, Public Works Director, and Mary McGurran, Park Board Chair. The first item on the agenda, following the roll call, is to review and approve minutes from the Park Board meeting of August 19th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Ryder and seconded by?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Helgeson. Any discussion on the minutes?
One thing, you guys did recommend to do Tree City, but it was not voted on. So if somebody would like to remake that recommendation and then vote on it so it could move to the board.
Thanks for checking that. Like, I read the minutes, I'm like, okay, we moved, but did we vote?
So, yeah, that would be the only thing to get the motion statement is just to re-vote on that.
We'll do that under item 5 this evening, I think. Can we do that?
Yes.
And then we'll just approve the minutes. So you're saying the minutes are correct, that we did not vote?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Take a vote on the minutes. All those in favor of the August 19th minutes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, comments from the floor. This is an opportunity for a Village of North Hudson residents, property, or business owners to make the park committee aware of, it's park board, I'm sorry, aware of topics, issues, or opportunities on or not on tonight's agenda. So if you would like to speak, please say your name, spell your last name, give your address, and your comments.
Okay, thank you. Mary Beth Mataya, M-A-T-A-Y-A, 210 7th Street North. I just want to start with thank you for a wonderful park board and for Matthew Howell and all his public works doing fabulous work. And I wanted to thank you for the pickleball courts in the Train Park. Love them. I don't know what
Glen Oaks.
Yeah,
Glen Oaks
I just
Park.
call it Train Park. Used to have the train, missed the train. But I would also like to say, I used to be on the Plan Commission, and there's only 2 teeny little pieces of land on like Riverside Drive. There's no parks in our area, just so you're aware. We have no parks. Everybody has private land for the most part. There's a place where you turn the buses around, teeny, and little place at the end of 7th Street, teeny, no thing down to the thing. We were always promised a bench or something. So it's the general public can walk, take a walk, sit, look at this thing, maybe slip a kayak in, whatever. So just wanted to remind you that's still out there. And the only substantial piece of land we have on Lake Malibu is the Conservancy. So I know you're tired of the Conservancy, but I'm going to put in another plug that's the only park on Lake Malibu, which is strange since we have a lot of room. So again, and I love that you have tried to support at different times a bike path or a walking path or something path. Lovely. Keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for a comment this evening? No other comments? We will close public comment and move to item 4, St. Croix Bike and Pedestrian Trail Coalition discussion and possible recommendation. So we have Susan Huser here and Amy Noonan, who's our representative to St. Croix Bike and Pedestrian Trail. And I see Susan is coming up. And Susan, if you can just spell your last name and your address and give us the update.
Susan Heiser, Heuiser, 11005 Quinlan Avenue North in Stillwater. So I have 2 things for you tonight. One, an update about an informational meeting, At our August Trestle Park meeting, and it was pretty quick, we had visitors, so we didn't have a real long time to talk, but it's kind of the overriding feeling from that Trestle Park committee. They think it's a little bit early to do that. And they've been thinking that for 3 years now. So if you think there is some impetus that would be helpful for the process that's going on here in the village to have an informational meeting, we'd be interested in hearing that. And some details about where you think the best location would be. We can get the informational meeting together, but where the best location would it be in North Hudson? We can get rooms at the Phipps, somewhere else in Hudson. Those kinds of questions would be things we'd be talking about at the Trestle Park Committee. And so the other Trestle Park Committee issue that we had, and it's going to slip my mind here. A joint meeting of the City of Hudson Park Board and the Village of North Hudson Park Board. We've been talking about that at the Trestle Park Committee as well. The chair of the park committee in the city is Pat Casanova, and he's on our committee, our Trestle Park Committee. He also thinks that's a little bit early yet to have, but there could be some wisdom in you folks who talk about the parks in this area. And it's, contiguous here, whether it's in the village or the city. There's some discussion about some change of ownership that might happen. Who knows what's going to be out there in a couple of years. But it might be, if you're open to it, not a bad idea to start the discussion between the two municipality park boards. And then by the time we know what's going to happen out here, you all know each other, and you're in a position that you could maybe give some input, you here at the village, them there at the city, and you've done some study or you've had some discussions or whatever. So we'd be interested in knowing if you would want to start that with a beginning meeting, and then we would decide whether we wanted to continue to meet quarterly or just meet once and be done, or what that would look like. And then any other questions you might have about the Trestle Park Committee and all the things that are going on there.
Questions from Park Board?
Well, I have a comment. I brought up the issue months ago of the two boards meeting together.
Right.
So I at that time, no one disagreed on this board with that concept. So that's something I think logically makes sense to proceed ASAP,
Okay.
depending upon what the timeline is, which is unclear to me.
The timeline for what? The meeting or
No.
the?
The proposed project, I'll call it.
Right. And that's always the question. And we, as a Trestle Park Committee, have been studying this for 3 years, kind of waiting for something to happen. Now there's a lot going on here at the village, and we still don't know what's actually going to happen, and it could be several months.
I think it'd be really useful if, for us, I hope, to have a proposed timeline, because what the steps are, as you see them in this process, because it's unclear to me what they are.
Right. I think that really is more of that is in the hands of your village board and your village plan commission at this point in time. Maybe Mary can talk a little bit about that. The Trestle Park Committee isn't in control of that. The village really is. And you've got some proposals in front of the village that will determine what's going to be going on in 6 months or so.
Well, the issue is, this board, we don't have the information necessary to set up a timeline, because we don't know exactly what's been going on.
Right.
So the articulation between the various entities needs to occur. And I think something on paper, even if it's, rough drafts of a timeline, or the steps would be really useful.
Sure.
So have you got something, I know you've got the federal, or the National
National Park
Park
Service
Service
help.
involved, and you had said they would be doing a presentation of some sort before they close out their time with the coalition. Is there something that they have that we could see, talk about?
We can talk with them about that. We actually are not sure if we have been approved for our 4th year of
Okay.
help from them. Things are kind of, National Park Service is one of those entities that things are kind of on slow at this point. And so the last time I talked to our representative, she had not heard. They hadn't heard.
Okay.
But we have a lot of information from them as far as, timelines and how you build a park a piece at a time or all at once and all those we have that kind of information that I could put that together for you. Whether there's actually going to be a park there is dependent on what's going to happen at the village.
So what I'm hearing you say is that because there hasn't been a decision by the village or the other partners, the county and the city, which are all partners in this area, to move forward with
Hudson.
town
Town
and the
Hudson.
town. There isn't a decision to move forward. There isn't a timeline because the municipalities haven't decided that this is what they want to do.
Right.
And so that's where I think talking with the city park board would be helpful to see how they understand what their priority is for this and what role or partnership they may have in this.
Well, we can certainly talk to Pat, and he can talk to his board, and we can certainly set it up and host it. And we have a lot of information we could give you at that meeting.
I think that would be nice especially if you could do it while you still have your National Park Service person available.
Okay.
So we don't lose that resource. And as far as the public meeting, what I heard you say is that the coalition doesn't feel that it's time to do a public meeting, and so you wouldn't be doing a public meeting.
Not right now if
Okay.
it's left up to us, but if you want to give us some input that you think that would be helpful here, we could take that back to our committee and say, well, the village thinks that maybe the residents would benefit from hearing what's going on.
So the park board voted in favor of doing that, and that wasn't supported by the board at
Right.
this time. So I don't think we could say that the village believes that is good or appropriate step at this time. The park board does, but the village board doesn't, and they would really have the decision-making authority around this.
Right. So if we planned a joint park board meeting, would it be in October? Would it be in November?
I would not go around holidays.
Get it before Halloween in October?
Yeah.
Okay. I will take that back to our Trestle Park Committee. We're going to meet the last Monday in September. Say, can we get a meeting together with the two park boards? Would you host it here? Would you want to go to Hudson? Would you want to meet somewhere in between? Doesn't matter.
We'll meet on the bridge, that'll
On
work.
the bridge. That might be kind of noisy, yeah. Okay, all right. Anything else?
No other questions, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to step up and just
Oh.
add to that. Sure. Amy Noonan, 323 7th Street North. I'm a resident. I am also, as Mary already articulated, and most of you know, the village-appointed member of the Lake Malibu Trestle Park Committee, along with Kirk Nelson. So just a couple of things that came up in my mind that I want to go, first of all, thanks for this great group. So much happening, so positive, so encouraging of our comments and input. Also, I noticed all those estimates online already from things that were just agreed to last month. That is really getting the work done fast. I really, really appreciate that. It's really kind of impressive. As far as like information, Mr. Ryder, we already do, our group have a price estimate, which of course is already outdated because it's several years old, but it would be ballpark for this park concept. We have a very detailed pictorial park concept, which I believe you all have in a packet with maps and everything about the ownership. We also have a maintenance plan, like what it would take to maintain research that we've done with national parks and talking to, I'm not sure if it was Matt or our previous director here, and the city too, did some work on that. And then, as far as the Cole meeting goes, Mary already mentioned this, that though this group approved the meeting, the board then the following board meeting said they did not support that. So I don't know if we can then call a park board meeting, city and village, or if it has to be our group. But we could certainly, even if it has to be our group, we could say, though the park board cannot, the village park board cannot officially host this, they did give us their approval and sanction just as individuals. Do you know what I'm talking about, Susan? Yeah. Okay. And you can add to that once I get done talking. Location, Kirk had mentioned, and again, this would be for your consideration and your comment. Kirk Nelson, trustee, had mentioned that he thinks that in the village, people attend better when the meeting is here versus in the city. That would be something to consider. If it's a co-op meeting, though, that makes it a little more tricky. Also, we had talked, I think, last month about a Friends of the Parks group here in the village, and a few of us had said we might be interested in participating in that. And then also, Susan, do we have a date for how long we do have our National Park Service representative? Do we know we have her till?
Well, they haven't told us yet.
Okay, so it could be end at any time.
It will be, if we get another year, it will end in March.
Okay, so then do we have it for March, till March?
Till March,
For sure. And then the next year,
not for sure.
I guess nothing's really for sure.
Can I make a query?
I don't know what the rules are, so, Mary, can she?
Oh, go ahead.
Or does she need to come up here?
Well, I was just, because I've attending those meetings, and I had heard at the meeting that they weren't allowed to have a public meeting for information, but I didn't hear that the two park boards couldn't meet. So could someone check if that's, which they disapproved of? I did not recall them saying that the two park boards couldn't talk.
So we have the item under consideration for a joint park board meeting between Hudson and the village. And I don't know our authority to make that decision, but I will find out. So, yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure coming to these meetings.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And I do want to clarify that the budget that we're going to be talking about this evening under item number 8 is a proposed budget that goes to the board, and the board needs to be able to have the resources to fund this budget or portions of this. So we'll talk about that under number 8. Okay, we're going to go to Tree City, update, discussion, and possible recommendations. And Matt, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, so basically, to become a tree city, you have to put forth double your population to trees every year, but that doesn't necessarily mean we have to budget that amount. So that can be with like-kind services. So all the work that the village does, if we keep track of that, that can cover part of that. It's not just the money. So right now we're at, we need 7,600 to be able to meet one of the requirements. We easily do that every year. So that wouldn't change our budget at all. And with becoming a tree city, you have to host one event, so a Arbor Day or a Cleanup Day or a Earth Day event. But with that comes good deals on trees, education for the staff, education for the people. You can sign up for different things. They can kind of, there's a lot of programs, but mostly where it'll help us is it will help us get back some of our urban tree canopy that we've lost through cutting down all of these ash trees, which if you drive around the village from before the emerald ash borer until now, it just looks completely different. There's a lot of right-of-way trees, so the ones that you see from the road have been forced to be removed because they're dead. So that's, and that's, you know, back when they had the elm trees that were dying, and then with some of these oak trees that are dying, whether it be to oak wilt or drought or a combination of the two. So it would be good to get that, and then there's other, they'll help you form a rock bed to put your trees in, so then you can buy a bunch of small trees, and when you're ready for them, you can plant it. And it's a good organization to help out with some of the tree loss we've had in the village.
So, in order to be a tree city, and if anyone's interested, it's www.arborday.org. As Matt said, there needs to be a $2 per capita annual expenditure, which for the village with our population would be $7,600. And Matt said we already meet that, so it wouldn't be an additional item on a budget that we would move forward to the board. It's already covered. We need to have a tree board or public works or forestry department with legal responsibility for tree care and a tree ordinance, which we have both of those things. So, and then the fourth thing, as Matt said, is to do an Arbor Day observation proclamation or some sort of event around trees. We had discussion at the August meeting about this, and it was very favorable from the park board, but apparently we didn't take a vote after the motion. So I'm going to, unless you have a different motion, did you bring a different motion, Matt, or should I just?
No, I was gonna prepare one for the board meeting if it got
Okay.
voted on tonight.
Okay, so I'm gonna restate the motion that we had, which was originally made by Commissioner Flater and Ortner to move forward to become a tree city. And do I have a second for that motion?
Can I second my own motion?
Well, your motion died, so yes,
Oh.
yes, please.
I second that.
Okay, all right, so we have a motion by the chair and a second by Commissioner Ryder to move forward to become a tree city. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? There are no nays. The motion moves forward. Is that what you need, Matt?
I think so.
All right.
Perfect.
All right. Any other discussion or questions before we go to the next
Can
one?
I just ask one quick question? So out of these trees that we need in the city, is that just on village property, or does that also include private property as well?
See, that's the cool thing is when you are part of that, we can purchase trees at this great price, and then the residents can buy them for their own private property. When we used to partner with Hudson on theirs,
Yep.
we would get them, they would get them from Arbor Day, and then people could purchase.
Yep.
They weren't marked up, it's just, they could get them all there, and then you just have to pick them up from their rock bed. And if you look at the tree out in front of the village hall, that was an Arbor Day tree that we put in 2013. And then the two up in Chief Jansen off the side of the trail, there's I don't remember what kind of trees they were, both flowering trees, and those came from there. There was numerous trees, those are just the ones, 3 of them that I can remember that came from Arbor Day, or from becoming a tree city.
So there's an option to actually expand it to include a benefit to residents for
Oh, yeah.
beautifying their own property
Yeah.
at cost.
Or putting them in their own right-of-way with the approval of a right-of-way tree permit, which if you lost your tree due to a storm or to emerald ash borer, the fee is waived for the replacement of those trees, so you don't have to pay the. Now, if you just want to add one that was there, then it's $20, but for emerald ash borer and storm damage loss, it's waived, the fee.
So there's a right-of-way tree option?
Yes, because we have to restrict the trees that people can plant, otherwise they'll get too tall and grow into power lines, or if they're like a silver maple, it'll just pop the sidewalks in the road in 20 years. So
Sure.
we keep it to kind of a small canopied tree that doesn't have a huge wide root base.
So there's permits that people can get if they want to do a right-of-way tree.
Yep, and it's all the trees that they can pick from are on that permit. And we do allow substitutions as long as you come to us and we have the arborist look and approve the tree, but there's a general tree list on that permit.
So where would people find information about that?
North Hudson website.
It's on the website. Awesome.
Yeah. Or, well, I don't know, I've signed them, but I've never actually filled one out. Otherwise, you can email me and I'll just send it to you.
Or couldn't it be submitted through the Public Works Maintenance request form?
Yep.
So use the Public Works Maintenance request form if you are interested in getting a permit for a right-of-way tree. And in the hopefully near future, we'll have some options through the Arbor Day.
Yes, and it is,
Foundation.
if you did have an ash tree removed recently, they do say that you want to wait 2 years for the soil to recover before you put another tree in the same spot, because it stresses out the soil so bad.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions or comments about? Okay, item 6 is park walkthrough, update, discussion, and possible recommendations. So, I think we were gonna try and have everyone go to check out the restroom at Ferry Landing Park, and then any other items that people have that you're aware of from, different parks that, we would wanna discuss. Any comments, questions related to current walkthroughs of the parks?
My only comment is I've been to that bathroom down at Ferry's Landing, and I still kind of don't like to go into it.
Yes, okay. You did your homework, or you've done your pre-work. I went in, I would agree with that, but they're there and it was operational, so thank you, Matt, they work.
Yep, they do work.
Any other comments, questions about different parks? Okay, we're gonna move through item 6 and go to 7. Comprehensive plan park goal review discussion only. So that item should have come off, but it's on, so I guess I'll just do an update that the comprehensive plan was not voted on by the Plan Commission. And there are many things in there, as we talked about the last meeting, about parks that are in the comp plan. It is on the agenda again for this week for the Plan Commission to have, the delay was to give the commissioners time the Plan Commission commissioners time to fully review the comprehensive plan before voting on it. And so I guess we will very possibly know this week the status of the comprehensive plan, which will direct future park board activities, because the goals that are in there are things that we will be picking up and working on. Any other discussion about the 2025 comprehensive plan? All right, we'll wait and see what happens and potentially have that on for next meeting as well. So item 8 is the 2026 Parks Capital Budget Request Discussion and Possible Recommendation. So this is the document that all the commissioners have, and there also are some for the public on the table over there. This is based on the previous meetings that we've had as a park board, where we talked about different priorities for each of the parks. And then at the last meeting, we prioritized those 1 through 4. And Matt, between this meeting and last meeting, our Public Works Director provided estimates on the costs for these, and his estimates are on your spreadsheet, as well as there's more details in the meeting documents for each of the estimates. So you can see what we've got here, which is our first priority was a bathroom, a unisex bathroom for Summers Landing, which was identified as about an $85,000 item. Our second priority was to upgrade the playground equipment for Chief Jansen Park for multi-age or older age, and that cost estimate was about $150,000. And then the third and fourth items were pavilion and bathroom for Ferry Landing, upgrade the bathroom and rebuild essentially the pavilion, and that is about $167,000. So that's what we're looking at. Yep, Matt?
We do have a meeting next week with people from the DNR, Mary, the park commissioner, myself, Gina, and Cedar Corps, some other people there. Basically, for Ferry's Landing, there's a lot of opportunity for grants between the National Park Service, the DNR, Wisconsin grants, and then there's also a fishing pier grant that we're eligible for. So those ones with grant process, those would probably be 2027 projects, or we're in 25 now, yeah. So yeah, 27 projects. It would be grant as far as like wouldn't be spending the money this year. It would be if we wanted to pursue getting grants and stuff. The other two would be probably 2026 actual executed projects if we were able to receive funding. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the Ferry's Landing prices might be a little bit off because it's kind of just like Browns Beach. We started planning that in 20, it got finished in 24. When you get the grants and stuff, it's a timely process, but those are kind of what we're looking at for prices.
Go ahead.
So then what I'm hearing is that we need, or that Summers Landing's 2026 priority would be the bathroom. And then priority number 2 would be Chief Jansen. And then in 2027, we can make the pavilion and the bathroom and that priority.
So,
correct?
so what would happen is we would move these forward to the board, and Matt would be involved in those discussions, and they would very likely say, we're gonna move that to 2027,
Okay.
because that's when we think we can get grant funding for it. So what our job is to really decide what the priorities are for 26, move them forward. The board may say, that's not our priority, we're not gonna do that, or we're gonna move that to the next year, or we're gonna try and get grant funding. So how this actually plays out will be up to the finance committee and the board, but we'll be telling them, this is what we think are the priorities right now.
I have some additional information.
Yes.
That pertains to the discussion. There are right now companies that make playground equipment, and one of them has a matching grant program. But it's due the 16th of October. But they'll match, actually, they won't match, they'll pay up to 100% of whatever it is you buy. Obviously, they want you to buy their equipment, and that would occur, but that's a great opportunity. The other thing that I found is that another company, if you can submit it online, it's a funny grant proposal. They don't have any money, but what they do is they will find funds for you out there. But you have to apply, and it's an online proposal that you submit to them. But that's nice because they have the resources to determine, given the need, where the money might be.
Thank you, Commissioner. So we did see the one that I think the first one that you talked about, and that is on the table as a potential way to implement this. And the second one, if you've got information, if you could send that to Matt or to me or to both of us, and we can look into that. That's what we'll be doing, I think, at the meeting that's upcoming with Cedar Corps, is figuring out the best funding options. And obviously, this estimate, if this, and I can't remember exactly the name of the company that was doing the matching grant, but if that's an option, then we can just expand what we can do with that. So thank you for looking into that. And then if you can share that second one, that would be great. Matt, do you have any other comments about that?
Yeah, this right here, this picture and this bid is just, so there's a lot more than to getting a bid. You gotta get maps, you gotta get 3D drawings, you gotta get your elevation shot. This right here is just to show you, this is what $150,000 can get you. Not saying we're gonna go with Playground Boss, they were just the quickest response time to get figures and numbers. And some other ones got back, and there's a million different programs. There's ones where they'll match the grant. Sounds like it's great, but this same playground is distributed by that same company for just double the price. So are they giving you a grant or not? I don't know. That's all perspective. Then there's other ones that can save immense amount of money because they do community involvement to where the community builds it. They plan 2 Saturdays where they have like the playground engineer that's there kind of showing everybody what to do, and the community comes together. So then you get a lot less installation charges, but their playground is more money. So it's all the companies are about the same for price. It's just how do you want to get there? The ones that offer the huge grants are just double the price of the ones that don't offer the grants. It's from all the research I've done, and I've spent a lot of time on the phone with probably 10 different distributors.
So what we'll be doing is forwarding the recommendation, but not the specific vendor,
Yes.
not the specific approach, and not even really the exact amount.
Or even the
because-
design.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just this design had all of the things that people wanted: monkey bars, climbing, captivates that certain 5 to 12 age range. So this is just kind of showing you what 150 would get,
Thank you.
not saying we're going to use this design, this color, or even this type of playground.
All right. Other comments or questions from the board? All right. Do we have a motion to move forward with the top 4 priorities from the park board to move them forward to the village board for consideration in the 2026 budget?
So moved.
Second?
All right, so that was Commissioner Helgeson and seconded by Commissioner Ryder. All those in favor signifying aye. Aye. Opposed? No opposition, the motion carries. Thank you all, wonderful. And director update.
Been working on the trees that we got the funding for, and then with the Tree City, we would like to plant them. As far as the grant's been submitted to the DNR for the EAB, so that can be used for removal or replacement. They're all gonna be gone by the time we would get the funding, if we get the funding. So we'll wait to see, but we plan on using that to reestablish a lot of the right-of-way trees and park trees that have gotten removed. But it's a waiting game, so we're gonna just have to budget for it with finance as if we get the grant, and if we don't, then we will just do our portion without the grant's assistance.
So does that budget item come from the park board, or who's moving forward that budget item for the trees to the finance committee? Is that something you just submit?
Yeah, because
Okay.
it went through, they gave me permission 2 years ago to fill out the non-committal grants for the trees. So then, basically, if they accept it, then we budget for it, because it's 50/50, so it's 5,000 they give. So we already have 5,000 budgeted. So if we get it, we'll be able to spend 10,000. If we don't, we'll just spend 5,000,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yep, I just want to make sure we didn't have to move something forward as the forestry
No,
board, or whatever we are.
If we get the grant, then you guys will have to approve the spending, but since it's non-committal, they allow me to just fill out the grants and do the stuff, and hopefully we get it, and if we do, then we deal with how we're going to utilize it.
Okay,
I did fill out the grant as if we were gonna be using 70% of it for replacement and 30% of it for removal.
okay. I'm sorry, I interrupted your update.
Oh, no, that's perfect. That's all I have. Oh, and then, we did get that, the big concern of all the sandburs at, Summers Landing Park. We did remove all the sand and put in the, proper wood chips that you guys approved a couple months ago. There was some funds left, so we were able to get that part done as well with that same money that you guys had approved, or asked for the board to approve.
Wonderful. Other questions for the director? Okay, hearing none. Next item, future agenda items. So we have Tree City update, discussion on Friends of the Park. Then update on the comprehensive plan and what the priorities would be for the park. And then we'll do, we may have an update on the budget, maybe not, but we can keep it on there and see if there's an update for that. Other items?
I know kind of putting the cart ahead of the horse, but as far as setting up a committee, if we do get funding for a park to help pick what's going to be there, the colors, the actual activities. I'm not a kid,
Yep.
so I don't really know exactly what they want. But I think with parents and stuff, if we could get that on there, because you can get the things in any color you want, you can get the slides any size you want, so help with
Sure.
actually a committee or group. You
So
know?
different than Friends of the Park, do you think that would be, or like a,
I guess I'm not sure what the Friends of the Park is.
yeah, I think that's what we hadn't even talked about, but what I'm hearing you say is you need a community group to help support decision-making for Chief Jansen.
Especially ones who live in that community who would be looking out their windows at it.
Okay.
An advisory board.
Okay.
Yes, that's it.
That's what I'll
Perfect.
call it, as an
Advisory committee,
Yeah.
maybe a task force off of this group.
Right.
I'll find out legally, so that, let's have that on, so that we make sure and figure out what we need to do to move that forward. And I know we've got people that are listening, and we have people that come and speak that may be interested, so feel free also to just send your interest to Matt.
Yep.
Send your interest to Matt if you're interested in being part of an advisory committee or task force for that park, presuming that it gets funded. And we'll also talk about it at the next meeting and maybe think of some ways to try and promote that. It may just be signs up in the park or something, but we'll talk about it. Okay, thank you. Other agenda items? All right. Hearing none, the meeting of the Village of North Hudson Park Board for September is concluded at 6:42. Thank you.
Would you like a motion to adjourn?
Don't need it.
Yeah, that's right. They told me I didn't need it.
It's not required in the meeting.